So I will read some shlokas because then I will have to go to meeting or something. So whenever somebody comes, right, like I asked the Chidanand Mataji if she can read in Japanese, if
So
possible.
I will
ask-
read some shloka.
Okay. So I will start. Karunanam Mataji is also there. So Karunanam Mataji, 聞こえますか? Karunanam Mataji. 今仕事ですか? わかりました。はい。
Hare Krishna. We can ask like to raise our hand so that those who wanna read, we can go with the sequence of that.
読めること可能であれば手を挙げてくださいね。とりあえず私始めますね。Now I will start chapter 1 observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Text 1. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after my sons and sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Text 2. Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following. O my teacher, behold the great army of sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, son of Drupada. Text 4. Here in this army are heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and others like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Text 5. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Cheki, Tana, Kashiraja, Urujita, Kunti Bhoja, and Vaibhya. Text 6. There are mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamahuja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Text 7. But for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Text 8. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishwar, victorious in battle. Text 9. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are very well equipped with different kinds of weapon, and all are experienced in military science. Text 10. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas carefully protected by Bhima is limited. Somebody can read next 10 verses. Ne? Sugino eko, sugino chu, setsu yonde kudasai. So, okay, Sujal, please go ahead.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Text 11. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Text 12. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhan joy. Text 13. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Text 14. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjun, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjun blew his Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of the Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shell called Pondra. Text 16 to 18. King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughosha and Manipushpa. That great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. Text 19. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Text 20. At that time, Arjun, The son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Yes, continue. Another 10.
Text 21, 22. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Text 23. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil minded son of Dhritarashtra. Text 24. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjun, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. Text 25. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all other chief chieftains of the world, the Lord said, Just behold, Bharat, all the Kurus assemble here. Text 26. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, material uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. Text 27. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with the compassion and spoke thus. In text 28, Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Text 29. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Text 30. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. Please continue.
Hare Krishna. Text 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I see my dear Krishna desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Text 32 to 35. O Govind, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even a life after life itself, where all those men whom we desire them are now arrayed in on this battlefield? Oh, Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father in law, grandson, brother in law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties, and are you standing before me? Why should I kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of these living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange of the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Text 36. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain? O Krishna, husband of the goddess of the fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Text 37 to 38. O Janardhan, although this man, the hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one family or quarreling with the family, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Text 39. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the families becomes involved in irreligion. Text 40. When religion is prominent in the family, or Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of the womanhood or descendant of Vrishni uh, comes unwanted progeny. Hare Krishna, continue.
Prabhat Prabhu or Santosh can read in the office. But
In office cannot do that. I listening mode.
okay. Santosh?
Yes, Guruji. I can do it. Just I'm checking one line. Which text going on now?
41.
41.
41 probably.
Chapter first. Huh?
Chapter first, text
Chapter
41.
Okay, 41. Yes, okay. When there is a increase, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Guruji. Let me start.
Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When there is an increase of unwanted population, the healthy situation is created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, there is no offering of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. Text 42. Due to the evil deeds, due to the evil deeds of the destroyers of the family tradition, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities will be devastated. Text 43. O Krishna, the maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. Text 44. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy the royal happiness. Text 45. I would consider it better for the sons of Dhritarashtra to kill me unarmed and unresisting rather than fight with them. Text 46. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Santosh Prabhu,
Uh,
Yes, bro.
you are reading from where? This translation?
I'm online, but I just open one book.
Prabhuji, please open vedabase.io.
Sorry.
Yeah, like the translation was different actually.
Different, huh? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
I'm really sorry, bro.
no, it's okay, it's okay. It was like similar, but a bit
Yeah.
different. So
Can
please,
someone
like,
share the screen?
yeah,
That will
I
be good,
will
actually.
from in a group, I will share the link of this vedabase.io.
Can somebody share the screen? Sujal, you can
Yeah,
share the
yes,
screen.
I can, Prabhuji, I can.
Just share the screen so everybody can read there.
Yeah, one second.
And on Veda base, if you go to dual mode, you can display in Japanese and English both. Anyways, chapter 2.
Yes, Prabhuji,
No,
please.
just keep the index. No? Just keep the index.
Ah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Santosh Prabhu, can you continue?
Now I also opened the Vedas project, no problem.
Okay,
So I can start.
okay.
Thank you. Summarize Gita. Text 1. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears. Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Hope I am going right now, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to the infamy. Text 3. O son of Partha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give of such a petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. Text 4. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counter back with arrows in battle, men like Bhishma or Drona who are worthy of my worship? Text 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly, again, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Text 6. Nor do we have no, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the son of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Text 7. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all the composure because miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is better for me, what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. Text 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is a drying of my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win the prosperous and unrevealed kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Text 9. Sanjay said, having spoken thus Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, of told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Text 10. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of the both armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Anyone would like to continue from 11?
Yeah, maybe Karunanam Mataji and Jai Shri remain, right? So, Karunanam Mataji, 仕事ですか？読めますか？
すいません。ちょっと今難しいです。
わかりました。了解。じゃあ、進みます。Prabhat said he's in the listening mode. Cannot read. Okay. Jai Shri is there? Jai Shri Dasi.
Krishna?
211.
You can continue. I will raise my hand
Okay.
when.
Okay, fine. So I will start, okay? So okay. Then we continue in the loop as Anmol said. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for living nor for the dead. Text 12. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in future shall any one of us cease to be. Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such change. Text 14. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception and of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Text 15. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Text 16. Those who are seers of truth have concluded that that of the non-existence, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. That Text 17. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Text 18. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharata. Text 19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it is slain is in knowledge. For the self slays not, nor is slain. Text 20. For the soul there is neither birth or death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, everlasting, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Okay, those are.
Anmol, continue.
Hare Krishna, text 21. O Parth, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on a new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts the new material bodies, giving up the old and the useless ones. Text 23. The soul can never be cut into pieces, can never be cut to the pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by the water, nor withered by the wind. Text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned or dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Text 25. It is said the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Text 26. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. Text 27. One who has taken this birth is sure to die, and after the death, one is sure to take the birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created beings are unmanifested in their beginning, manifest in their in term state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what is the need? What need is there for lamentation? Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him all. Text 30. O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being. Hare Krishna. Continue.
Chinmay.
Text 31. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunity come unsought, opening for them the doors of heavenly planets. Text 33. If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Text 34. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than a death. Text 34. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you are insignificant. Text 36. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will be conquered and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with the determination and fight. Text 38. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Text 39. Thus, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without putative results. O son of Partha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Text 40. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little development on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So, shall I continue?
Hare Krishna. Text 41. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Text 42 and 43. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitative activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Text 44. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulences, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Text 45. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all the anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Text 46. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Text 47. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Text 48. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Text 49. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their works are miserers. Text 50. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Santosh Prabhuji?
Yes, bro.
Yes, please continue from text 51.
52,
51.
51. Okay. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text 51. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the result of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. Text 52. When your intelligence has passed out of this dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. Text 53. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it is remain fixed in the trance of self-realization, have then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Text 54. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one who conscious is thus merged in the transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? Text 55. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arises from mental concoction, and when his mind is thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be the pure transcendental. Then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Text 56. One who is not disturbed in the mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elevated when there is a happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, anger, is called as sage of steady mind. Text 57. In the material world, one who is unaffected by the whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it or nor devising it, is firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge. Text 58. One who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, it firmly fixed in the perfect consciousness. Text 59. Through the embodied soul may be restricted from the sense enjoyment, the taste for the sense in object remains, but seizing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. Text 60. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. Hare Krishna. Puja Akash Prabhu, one of my friend is joined. Akash Prabhu, are you okay to read from text 61 to next 10 shlokas?
I won't be able to read, Prabhuji. You can continue. Hare Krishna.
Okay, please. Okay, Prabhuji. Someone can start from 61.
Anand Gorang Prabhuji.
One who restrains these senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Text 62. While contemplating on the sense of objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. Text 63. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls again into the material pool. Text 64. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Text 65. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Text 66. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence or nor steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? As the strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Therefore, O mighty, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. 69, text 69. What is the night of all being is the time of awakening of self-control, and the time of awakening for all beings is the night for introspective sage. Text 70. A person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desires that enter like river into ocean, which is ever filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, not a man who strives to satisfy this desire. I read next two also, okay, to finish
Yes,
the
Prabhu.
chapter. Text 71. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Text 72. That is the way of that is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anmol, continue.
Hare Krishna, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, text 1. Arjun said, O Janardhan, O Keshav, why do you want to engage me in the ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruity work? Text 2. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be the most beneficial for me. Text 3. The Supreme Personality of the Godhead said, O sinless Arjun, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by the devotional service. Text 4. Not by merely abstaining from the work can one achieve the freedom from the reaction. Not by renunciation alone can one can attain the perfection. Text 5. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of the material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Text 6. One who restrains the sense of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Text 7. On the other hand, if a sincere person strives to control the active senses by the mind and begins the Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Text 8. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Text 9. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of the Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from the bondage. Text 10. In the beginning of the creation, the Lord of all the creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with the sacrifices for the Vishnu, and blessed by them by saying, Be thou happy by this yagya, sacrifice, because this its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Hare Krishna. Please continue.
Chinmay Prabhu.
Text 11. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will regain for all. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigod, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. The devotee of this Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Otherwise, who prepared food for personal sense enjoyment will really eat only sin. Text 14. All living bodies subsists on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by the performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. 15. Regulatory activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, all the pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the act of sacrifice. My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly leads a life full of sins, living only for the satisfaction of the senses. Such a person lives in vain. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully sated, sated, for him there is no duty. Text 18. A self realized man has no purpose to fulfill in a discharge of his prescribed duties, nor he has nor he has he nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Text 19. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. What do you say, sir?
Hare Krishna. Text 21. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. 22. O son of Parth, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. 23. For I ever failed to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. 24. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. 25. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. 26. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. 27. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by three modes of material nature. 28. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, O mighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. 29. Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached, but the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. 30. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Hare Krishna. Santosh Prabhu, continue.
Okay. Text 31. Those person who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow these teachings faithfully without envy become free from bondage of fruitive actions. Text 32. But those who, out of envy, discard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, before and ruin in their endeavors for perfection. Text 33. Even a man of knowledge acting according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired, from the three modes. What can a reimpression accomplish? Question mark. And then text 34. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Text 35. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though factually, faultly, even though faultly, than the others' duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in others' duty. What a good point. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in others' duty. For to follow another's path is dangerous. Text 36. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is the one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly? So, unwillingly, as if engaged by force. Strike 37. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is a lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material modes of passion and later transformed into the Bhurat, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. Text 38. As a fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by the different degrees of this lust. Text 39. Thus, the voice living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Text 40. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are sitting place of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of living entity and bewilders him. Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, please read these three also.
Myself, okay, 41. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharata, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin called as lust by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Text 42. The working senses are superior to the dull matter. Mind is higher than senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, bracket, the soul, is even higher than intelligence. Text 43. Thus, knowing oneself to be the transcendental through the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty Arjuna, one should steady the mind by the deliberate spiritual intelligence, that is Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. Here we completed chapter 3.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Aarti Mataji, can you read? If you are okay with it.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Please,
Hare
10,
Krishna.
10 text, Mataji. Please
Okay,
continue.
sure. Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, Text 1. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Text 2. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Text 3. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Text 4. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Text 5. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Text 6. although I'm unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I'm the lord of all the living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Text 7. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Text 8. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Text 9. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Text 10. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anand Gaurang Prabhuji, are you available?
Yes, yes. As text 11, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pratha. Text 12. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. 13. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. 14. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in fruitive reactions of work. Text 15. All the liberated souls in ancient time acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following their footsteps. 16. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Text 17. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should forbidden action is and what inaction is. Text 18. One who sees inaction in action, action in inaction, is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. 19. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker from whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of knowledge. 20. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
Hare Krishna. Anmol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Text 21. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence, perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Text 22. He who is satisfied with the gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing the actions. Text 23. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of the material nature and who is fully situated in the transcendental knowledge uh, merges entirely into the transcendence. Text 24. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to the spiritual activities, in which the consummation of is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Text 25. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the supreme Brahmans. Text 26. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and sense in the fire of the mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifices the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Text 27. Others who are interested in achieving the self realization, though control of the mind and senses, offer the functions of all the senses and of the life and birth, of life breath, as oblations into the fire of the uncontrolled mind. Text 28. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of the Eightfold Mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in the transcendental knowledge. Text 29. Still others who are inclined to the process of the breath, restrained to remain in the trance. Practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at the last remain in the trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into the itself as a sacrifice. Text 30. All the performers who know the meaning of the sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of the sacrifices, they advanced toward the supreme eternal atmosphere. Hare Krishna. Chinmay
Chinmay.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Text 31. Oh, based of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? All these different type of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different type of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. O chastier of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possession. After all, O son of Partha, all sacrifices of work accumulate in transcendental knowledge. Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Having obtained real knowledge from a self realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of the transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. Text 37. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ash, O Arjun, so does the fire of knowledge burns to ashes all the reaction of material activities. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoy this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Text 39. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved in his quickly attains and having achieved it he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Text 40. But ignorant and faithless person would doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. I'll read next also.
Yes.
Text 41. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action and whose doubts has been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reaction of work, O conqueror of riches. Text 42. Therefore, the doubt which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. Thus the chapter 4th of Gita ends.
Chapter 5. Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness.
Same.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Should we continue in the evening?
Uh,
Yeah, we have 3 minutes only.
we have how many? 29 text. Okay, we can continue in the evening.
In the evening, we'll start with chapter 5. Huh?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
very
Krishna,
much.
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
See you at 7 p.m. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna, thank you.